McCain doesn't simply feud with left-wingers. In fact, I would argue she feuds more with people who are ideologically similar to her. And one of those women is Tata Setmayer. Didn't really know who she was until today when I read about the story, but Tata Setmayer is a contributor on ABC, which is where The View airs, and she's also a contributor for CNN. And apparently she had said something back in July of 2018 while she was guest hosting on The View that really upset Meghan McCain, and their feud went from the show to social media, Twitter to be exact. And now, based on a producer who spoke to the press on condition of anonymity, McCain wants to ban Setmayer from the show, period, okay? Now let's go to the video from 2018 that started the feud in the first place.
It's a cult that way.
But
that's when I said that before.
Please stop saying that.
No, I'm not going to stop saying that because when people lie, let me explain. It's why I say that.
The last time
I did, and I stand by it.
To people like me.
It's not everyone, but there's a large group of people who blindly follow what this man says that don't think for themselves. Where he actually can get away with saying things on tape and turn around and say this is fake news now. That is a cult.
Listen,
that's a cult.
Listen,
going around making enemies
Trump
everywhere,
has like
destroying
89%
alliances.
of Republicans,
which scares me.
So 89% of the Republican Party are in a cult.
The ones who are willing to speak out and criticize him when he deserves it, okay, fine. But there's a large group, including a lot of members of Congress, who have completely sold their principles down the river. They are hypocrites. Hypocrites.
So it's rare to find a conservative who's willing to speak out against Trump, but that's what Setmayer was doing there. But more specifically, she was speaking out against members of the Republican Party who support Donald Trump regardless of what he does. And she refers to them as a cult, and that's what got Meghan McCain so upset. Now let's go to what the producer has been telling the media. We haven't had Tara back on the show in 7 months, and of course you can guess why. Meghan hates her. For whatever reason, ABC does whatever Meghan wants. And then this source also said, I'll put it to you this way, if Joy Behar was starting Twitter fights with ABC News contributor Chris Christie online, all hell would break loose behind the scenes and she'd be in big trouble. Meghan and her husband lash out on Tara, or at Tara, an ABC News contributor, and ABC News president James Goldston is sending her assistant out to buy Meghan a new cactus. It's a real S show.
Okay, so man, when you're a celebrity on television, it's amazing. If you're not, then getting meetings with ABC News president is a Herculean task. It can be done, but it's very tough. But if he perceives, and it's not about him at all, it's true of all the executives, et cetera, and the culture of media. If he perceives you as a star, let's go get her a cactus, let's make her happy, et cetera.
Yeah, 100%. Right?
And so it's amazing how much they're catered to, but there are different standards. I think that producer is exactly right. If Joy Behar says something about Chris Christie, well, a progressive can't say it about a conservative. She'd be in trouble, even though Joy's been on that show for a million years, has much more seniority than Meghan McCain. But for whatever reason, there's the perception now that Meghan's a star of the show.
You know why? You know why? Because Meghan is the star of the show. She is. Meghan is the heel. Meghan is what makes that show entertaining. Let's just keep it real. I don't agree with the vast majority of things she has to say. I think that oftentimes she grates on people's nerves, mine included. But that's what keeps people watching, believe it or not. And I hate to say it this way, but all the other women on that panel can be replaced because all the other women on that panel are
reasonable?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's the reason why progressive women don't do well in mainstream media. It's the reason why, like, even if I go on Cuomo a million times and every time I do a segment on that show, it does really well ratings wise, it doesn't matter because there are reasonable people who can make similar points, right? Whereas with conservative women, they're willing to say the craziest things. Like, why do you think Tomi Lahren had her 15 minutes? Why do you think Candace Owens had her 15 minutes? Because they're women who have no shame and they're willing to say anything and everything to be the heel, to be like, you know.
Okay, let's be clear though. There are plenty of shameless men as well, okay?
True, yes.
Yes.
But I'm talking about it in the context of The View, and yeah.
And so why she get more upset about conservative women? Well, because they're competition. And I don't say that in regards to because it's two women. Men do it all the time as well. And so, look, keeping it real, Chris Matthews reviewed me as competition, especially when my show did better than his because he was at 5 o'clock, then I'd do 6 o'clock. The 6 o'clock show is supposed to do better than the 5 o'clock show because it's supposed to build on the 5 o'clock show.
He felt you were taking him to Central Park.
So there was definitely a little bit of that. That's what I hear from other people at the network at the time. So I definitely heard as well, but from many different people, that a lot of the hosts on cable news purposely pick fill-in hosts who are not good, so they look good by comparison. Even though it brings down their ratings overall for the quarter, they rather take that hit than have their job be challenged by a fill-in host who might do better than them. Okay.
I mean, that's reasonable.
Okay, but so that's
but I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying someone should do that. I'm just saying, like, of course people are gonna do that. Like, that doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah, my point is that Meghan McCain is not alone in wanting to like nudge out competition. Here's Tara, who looks to be a compelling character, who's also conservative.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I didn't even think about it that way. Like, I didn't think about it in the competition way.
Of course.
But and that's the reason. Yes, that's the reason why she's so much more hostile toward conservatives on that show than she is. I mean, look, she and Joy have had, their fights or whatever. But remember, like, her feud with Abby Huntsman was so bad that Abby Huntsman was finally like, I'm just gonna go work on my dad's campaign. I'm gone. Like, I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, and unreasonable people have that advantage that they drive reasonable people crazy and then eventually away. And so, and relative power within a media company is also super real. Again, when I was at MSNBC, Joe Scarborough complained to management that I was criticizing him, and he said, and he asked mommy to make me stop. Okay, and so I got a talking to. You don't criticize Joe Scarborough anymore.
Were you criticizing him on the show? On MSNBC?
No, they didn't like that I was doing it on Young Turks.
Oh, really?
And I forget, I must have done it. Maybe I did. Maybe I did on MSNBC. And I respected them that it's their network.
Yeah.
So I didn't criticize Scarborough anymore on MSNBC.
And I get that because I would be livid if someone here like was trash talking me here or anywhere else. Like, that's not cool, I hear you. I think it's totally fine to have disagreements, and I don't think it's that big a deal. But there's a wide range of opinions and reactions to that. But so that's the dynamic you're seeing. Meghan has power. She's allowed to drive Tara away, even though it's not fair and it's not the rules that the network applies to anyone else. It's not ABC. Every network does the same way. And no matter how unreasonable she is, because she's the heel and hence the star, she gets cactuses. Everybody else gets shown the door. I was reading this super lengthy and very nice profile that was written about Kyle Kulinski.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was
Where
written
was that?
In Jacobin.
Oh, great.
It was
wonderful.
really good. And I think they interviewed you for it because there were a few of your quotes in it. They also interviewed me but didn't use any of my quotes, which was kind of annoying because I took time out of my day to do that interview. But nonetheless, I'll get over that.
Yeah, apparently barely.
Yeah. Like, just don't bother interviewing me if you don't want to use my stuff.
No, sometimes you get interviews, but the quotes don't quite fit into the narrative, and it's a shorter story, etc.
Yeah.
Man, I love to defend people.
I know, and I feel bad because I love Jacobin and I actually really like that writer. It's just like, anyway. But the reason why I bring that up is because there was a part of that profile that just talked about like Kyle's decision to be alone and away from everyone, like the entire media, like.
How much do you love that?
Oh God, it sounds so good. It sounds like one of the questions that was asked of me was like, why do you think that Kyle refuses to live in Manhattan and wants to like live like, in New York, but far away from everyone? And I was like, I didn't answer the question because I don't want to speculate about it. I don't know why he's doing that. All I know is it sounds really good.
Yeah, well, you'd have to use a crowbar to get Kyle Kulinski out of his living room.
No, I get it. I get it though.
And so he broadcasts out of a room in his house, etc. And there's a lot of things he could do to get bigger or to be on TV more, get more speeches. But there's really something, I don't know if admirable is the right word, but I'm almost envious of it because what I have to do is try to push everything forward, right? And I have to try to bring people along, and some of that involves compromise, and it's not doesn't make you feel great, right? But I've got to build something that's significant enough so that our message can get out. At least that's the responsibility that I feel, right? But there's something awesome about Kyle just sitting there going, nope, no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, then we won't have you on TV. Then I guess you won't have me on TV. I don't care, right? Okay, so we're gonna offer you this to come do this event. No, I want this instead. Well, then we're not gonna pay you. Okay, fine, no problem. I love my living room. Yeah, I know you love that.
Kyle's like the luckiest person on the planet. Anyway.
Yeah, I gotta stop feeling responsibility, right? If I stop.
I'm sure Kyle feels a lot of responsibility, but he's just taking a different approach, Like, yeah. Anyway.
I feel more, Anyway, Kyle's awesome. You should watch him too. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.